All right, what's good, fam? We live and direct. I've been direct. We're gonna jump right into it with the Tate and PBD interview. Still, what I'm actually gonna start doing is I should get like the stream to start at like 5:30. You know, like where you can have like a startup period where it's like starting up, and then actually start at 6:10. This way, like guys actually have a chance to fill in here before I just get immediately started at 6:10. I think that just makes a lot more sense. So I'm gonna start doing that shit for sure. But without further ado, then let's just jump right into it either way. But I think I'm gonna start that probably by tomorrow or the stream after. I'm gonna make sure to get that set so niggas can actually fill in here first before I just get right to it. Even though it's just nice to get right into the cooking, I want to have you guys actually have a chance to get in here first, which just makes a lot more sense to me. So yeah, all right, let's get right back into it. Let me see if I instantly remember exactly where we left off.
Is so
In fact, we're actually almost we're kind of an hour left of this shit, bro.
open. Let's talk about a subject that's going to get me in more trouble. You said 80%?
80.
Before we go into this, let me get myself in more trouble. Will you write to me in jail?
I will.
Thank you, sir.
That's a verbal deal right there. Contract.
Sunglasses.
Put 'em back
Fucking
on.
Go. Right.
Fucking go.
So I'm.
Well, your collar fixture. Like your collar. You can't.
I can fucking do whatever the fuck I
Vinny?
want. So
This thing is, bro.
Pop your shirt off real quick.
Don't even remember what these niggas were talking about.
I am so resistant to media programming that even when I know somebody is guilty of something, I still ask questions.
Oh, this was the when I was talking about how like there's just no way you can have a strong or aggressive reaction against somebody, or there's like it makes no sense to have a very strong or aggressive reaction against somebody, especially if you don't know anything about them. Like if you see a 10-second clip or a 30-second clip of somebody online and then you're having a visceral reaction from them, it's like, nigga, what are you doing? It just means that you're overly emotional. And because you're overly emotional, you're very easy to manipulate. This is also why women are the most easily manipulated, because if you could just get an emotional rise out of them, you can control them, right? Compared to men, it's like it's a lot harder to convince men of shit because we tend to be more logical. We tend to prioritize logic over emotion. So we're like, I don't know, man. You really got to give me evidence, facts, data to really get me to believe something. But for women, it's just kind of like if you can make her feel like a bad thing is happening and she gets all emotional, you can kind of make her do whatever you want to do. But bro, you got to keep the logic at the front of your head at all times because it's so easy to manipulate people with social media. It's actually ridiculous. Like you actually, even when he was getting ready to say here, like you actually have to be questioning everything. Even for him in his case, like the way that people were so immediately ready to believe that this nigga was a human trafficker without doing any research on who he is or what's going on, just goes to show that even when somebody's being convicted or accused of a crime, there's no way you can instantly form an opinion that, oh, this person did this shit or not. You might have your initial thoughts like, I don't know, he seems like the type of nigga to do some shit like that. Obviously, you can have some shit like that, but formulating a hard like stance on a person, especially if they've been accused of a crime, if you don't really know the facts and the data behind the situation or the information behind the situation, there's just no way you should be doing that shit, bro.
So is he guilty? Probably. Yeah. I believe he's guilty. There's enough evidence around. He looks pretty guilty. But when the media.
I haven't even followed the Diddy case at all, bro. I'd be hearing all the jokes like the diddler and get Diddy and shit like that, but like I have not followed the case at all. Maybe he's guilty, maybe he's not. I don't fucking know.
So, just attacking him.
Or I haven't followed it enough to really be like speaking about it in detail, is what I'll say.
I sit and think. I don't sit and think, Diddy's a piece of shit, Diddy's a piece of shit. I don't get programmed in the media. I sit and think, why only him? All of Hollywood's doing it. What did he do to get him in trouble? Because there's a whole bunch of others who've done the same things, but they're okay true. And he's not. Why did they
I remember there was actually some billionaire. I forgot what the billionaire's name. Maybe I could find it. I have to think of the situation. I don't know. But apparently, anyway, make a short story short. So there was apparently some billionaire that was also doing white parties too. He invited a bunch of rappers there. There was like Meek Mill was there, Lil Baby was there. Just rappers. So you just invited a bunch of rappers to this place. He paid for them to even come there, and it's just like they were there. So it was like the whole Hollywood, the whole that's what I'm saying. The entertainment industry got a serious dark side, bro. All them niggas be doing wild shit. So it is actually strange that they're only mad at that nigga, even though everybody be there, everybody be at the parties, everybody be dealing with was dealing with that nigga. You know what I'm saying? So it's only when you do something you're not supposed to do that they actually started exposing you. I remember, like I was saying in earlier streams too, how like nobody in the entertainment industry actually has serious, real opinions that you can actually trust because they're owned. They have handlers. They have labels that they're tied to. The minute you sign a contract to something, what you can and can't say is immediately controlled. Unless you're. This is why the benefits of being independent. Because when you're independent, you can actually say whatever you want. Like nobody can control what you say. But when you be held to a label, right? And you have handlers. Now you can't say whatever the fuck you want to say. So maybe for Diddy, he said something that he wasn't supposed to say, and or he was doing something or he said something that he was supposed to say that went against his handlers or his labels or whatever. And for that reason, they were like, "All right, this nigga got to go to jail." At least maybe that's true. Maybe it's not.
Randomly choose him? Did he stop obeying? Did he not re-sign the contract? Did he refuse to shut up about certain things? Why did they pluck him from the bunch of hundreds they could have gotten?
Yeah.
That's what I think.
What I'm actually most interested in now is to see who it could potentially happen to next now. I want to see this like happen again, actually. Because I mean the Diddy one was massive because he was like already he's been very well renowned, he's very famous. He's met a lot of these famous people and he's been in that industry for a while. So it's like for him, for them, it's massive because you never heard about any of this stuff from him. But I really want to see who's going to happen to next. And then that will be a chance for me and you, of course, to be like, look at the behind the scenes of the situation. Like, okay, did he say something he's not going to say? Kind of like what Tate was even saying here. Did he say something he was not supposed to say? Did he move in a certain way that, a lot of people didn't like or some shit like that? Like, to be able to really see the situation, because somebody going to get busted. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, someone's going to step out of line. Someone's going to say some shit that they're not supposed to say that their handlers are not going to like. Like, it's going to fucking happen. So, I want to really analyze the next situation because I didn't really follow the Diddy shit. It's kind of old news now, but I really want to see what's going to happen to next because then I'm seriously going to be paying attention to the whole situation. I'm going to use it as a way to practice, Even a big theme of a lot of the shit I say and talk about, especially on like YouTube and my short form stuff, is the importance of using real life as a way to train certain things. You see how I'm even talking about like right now where the Diddy situation kind of came and passed, but I want to see like another real life situation where this occurs where some big time entertainer gets exposed for hella shit and then be able to analyze the situation and see where the entertainer fucked up. Because they don't really pull out an entertainer and make him go to jail and all this coverage on a situation unless he did something that went against his handlers, that led to the downfall. So I really want to see that happen again because then I can increase my ability to analyze the situation on whether did this nigga step out of line? What did he do? Because it's very important, bro. You want to use real life experiences to develop real life skills. So
Think when the media attacks someone.
because a lot of the times, for example, I even use a great example of this actually that I want to give just from like an achieving your goals and success standpoint. I don't know why I pressed this. Oh, but okay, just from achieving your goals and a success standpoint. Um, Bro, what the hell? It's not letting me go into solo mode. Duo mode? Bro, hold on. Is this stuff on? Bro, is my stream? Wait, hold on. I think the Rumble stream like died. What the fuck? My bad, y'all. I think the Rumble stream like died. What the hell is going on? Hold on. I might have to restart the stream because none of my Rumble stuff. I mean, I'm still live for sure. It's just like my Rumble stuff. Something's fucked. The fuck, bro? Hold on. Oh, I could read these ads. What the hell? I might start reading ads for you niggas. Hold on. Okay, I think I'm gonna restart the stream. 1 second. All right, hold on. All right, I'm back in here. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, that was so weird, y'all. I don't know. I have no clue what just happened, bro. I just had to restart the shit. Like my Rumble Studio wasn't letting me do anything. Okay, am I back to? Okay, bet. I think I'm good to go now. I think I'm working. Okay. So what was I about to say? What was I about to say? I was about to say something important. Oh, okay. I was gonna talk about how you want to use real life situations as a way to train certain abilities. For example, if you're like, how do I get better at accepting change? For example, well, the only way you can get better at accepting change is by using times when you need to change to get better at accepting it, because you only get better at something from using a real life situation to practice, especially something like that, like accepting change. Well, you can't like summon that, like kind of like, okay, if you want to get better at shooting at basketball, you just need to get a basketball and then go to a court and start shooting. Like you have a lot more control over developing that ability compared to accepting change. Well, things change out of nowhere, things change randomly. So it's hard to just generate that ability to train something like that, accepting change just naturally. You have to use situations that just kind of happen to you as a way to train it. So there's a lot of things that you want to improve by just being conscious or being ready, to train it. So like the next time you have to accept change when it comes to changing your behavior for achieving your goals, for example. Like you're like, okay, I have to work harder than I previously thought I wasn't going to have to, or I have to make certain sacrifices I never thought I was going to have to make. Well, the only way you get better at it, right, or having to make these changes is by being ready to accept it, being like, no, this is what it takes to achieve my goals. Right. It's the only way you get better at accepting change. When you have a situation where you need to change, and then you tell yourself, hey, this I have to do this if I want to become more successful. Like, I don't have a choice. I have to put in more effort if I want to see better results. I have to make this sacrifice if I want to see better results. I can't go there anymore. I can't have these bum ass friends anymore. I can't play these video games anymore. I can't do this shit because I need this time to work on my goals a lot more. And naturally, when you're making these realizations and you're accepting these things every single time you have to make a change, then naturally you get better at accepting change. The same is true of sacrifices as well. Like you get better at making sacrifices by making sacrifices. If it feels weird to make sacrifices right now, it's just because you haven't done it that many times. But the more you make sacrifices, the better you're going to get at it. So every single time you need to make a sacrifice, that's an opportunity to train or to improve your ability to make sacrifices. So you kind of want to see real life as an opportunity to train a lot of things. Like you want to use your real life experiences as ways to train abilities that you need to have that you can't force yourself to have. As I gave the basketball example earlier, where if you want to get better at shooting basketball, you can just go get the basketball. But when it comes to real life situations, you only have real life situations that happen to you randomly that you can use to train certain abilities, like making sacrifices or accepting changes. So if you start looking at your life like that, bro, I promise you, your life literally becomes a video game. Like that's what it becomes. So just start thinking about shit like that, and it'll make you improve so much more, just in your life overall. It'll make you a master of life. Like honestly, I do this shit all the time, and it's made me so much fucking better. So
So
going.
that's what a smart man thinks. When people see me on the news, Andrew Tate, and they say, okay, so he's had some girlfriends, and one girlfriend 10 years ago said he's a bad person, let's say. That applies to every man on earth. A
Pretty
slave will
much.
go, Andrew's a bad person. A smart man will go, why him?
Or a guy who doesn't get bitches. That's also another situation. Because I mean, if you never really experienced something before, then naturally you're not going to be able to relate. And just assume somebody's a bad person for no reason.
Why did they randomly choose this one guy when they could have chosen anyone? Why did they pick him? Well, let's look at the things he says. Oh, he talks against war. He talks against this. He talks against that. Oh, turns out he's an enemy of the slave mind and the programming. Maybe that's why.
Mhm.
Intelligent people analyze why things are happening as opposed to feel emotionally invested in that event. So if you are watching something on the news, or if you have a strong opinion on someone you've never met, all these losers tweeting negatively at me who hate me so deeply because they saw a part of a YouTube video once and it offended them to their core, and
Which
they
makes no
can't stop
sense.
tweeting against me. And Megan Kelly thinks I'm bad and she's never even spoken to me. All these people are slave minded. Use your brain and think.
Or I mean that, and or it's brand though, because I mean he talked about a literal like podcaster, and the thing is, it's a part of your brand to denounce somebody who's not, you know what I'm saying. Like if somebody's not playing your side or isn't fighting for you, just kind of how like if you're a conservative, it's in your best interest to belittle somebody who's liberal. Even if they make a move that you personally respect, and it's like, well, it goes against my brand to praise somebody who's liberal, so I'm gonna just throw them under the bus, you know? It's just easier for conservatives to just be like, "Oh, fuck Andrew Tate," even though he's done all these great things for the conservative movement in general, especially when it's come to making young men more masculine. Conservatives will still disown him because one part of him goes against kind of their movement and it goes against their brand. So they don't want to endorse somebody who goes against their brand, even if this person is still doing good things, which I find very stupid. And it just goes to show that like a lot of people are way more concerned with, making as much money as possible and not really having integrity or being as honorable as possible. And you'll see it a lot more. It's just like, not even that you'll see it a lot more, you just see it a lot. It's just exists. So
For yourself. Why did they choose me? Randomly, once I became famous, once I spoke against the Matrix, not while I had a webcam studio, not when those videos were made. No, I was fine. You do know that 20% of Romanian GDP comes from webcam studios. Do you know that? Look it up.
that's
There's
that's
webcam
wild,
studios
bro.
all over Bucharest. They don't care. Why did they randomly choose me and attack me? Is it because I'm guilty? Or perhaps there may be an ulterior motive. If we're
Of course.
intelligent people, let's use our brains for
It was clearly not random. Like,
For a
come on
second.
now.
So when I see the Diddy things, as heinous as they are, I argue generally part of the services sector. 5,000 women are employed in Romania's camming industry. Minimum. Those are the official ones.
Those are the ones you hire.
No, those are the ones that pay tax.
And there's a lot of niggas under the table, bro.
And trust me, most of them don't. So I'm telling you, Romania's full of webcam. They don't care. They've never cared. Why me? So when I see the Diddy things, a slave is like, he's a disgusting piece of shit. He's a disgusting piece of shit. I sit there and go, wait. I don't know Diddy. Never spoken to him. I'm not defending him because what they're about to say is Andrew Tate, sex trafficker, defend sex trafficker. No, what I'm saying is they've decided to wreck him. I don't know his side of the story. He may be guilty. His side of the story might be, yeah, I did it, but so did this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. I'm only asking why only him? Because I think that's a far more interesting story. Why him of all of them?
Yeah, he probably did something wild. He must have done something that went against somebody or one of his handlers for sure. You know, this is especially true like when Kanye or Ye started speaking out against, or was realizing that Jewish people were controlling the music industry and he started speaking out against that. Boom. Obviously, they instantly started trying to destroy the nigga. He only recently came back because he made a ton more money. So now he was free to say whatever he wanted to say. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's just kind of what it is. And it's weird. You just always notice that's also always what happens to entertainers. Like, there's a lot of things that entertainers want to say and or talk about, but they can't because they understand that their handlers are going to destroy them. They understand that. Because this is almost always true, bro. Like the minute somebody leaves the entertainment industry or is no longer an entertainer or has left that life, immediately they start having all these opinions on shit. I'm like, nigga, where was this shit when you were an entertainer? Well, I mean, I had handlers back then, so I couldn't really say whatever the fuck I wanted to say. So, bro.
Are we allowed to ask? Probably not. But I'm not slave-minded. They can't control me. Because let me ask you another question. You remember the video of him beating Cassie up in the hallway?
We all do, yes.
Okay.
Wait, in LA.
When did that happen? 2000, like, happened like
11,
it was-
12.
This is why I also think it's just so it's so annoying making money off handlers or having a vehicle behind you to make money. Because you lose your sovereignty, you lose your independence, you lose your ability to kind of say whatever you want to say. You know what I'm saying? Because if you need a vehicle behind you, and that's usually what happens when you're an actor or an entertainer or a musician, you need a vehicle behind you because when you have a label behind you, you could market way harder, you could sell more merchandise, like you just are overall going to make more money because when you're just on your own as a singular artist, sure, you can, put your music like out a decent amount, but compared to like $1 million industry or $1 million label behind you, like the difference is heaven and earth. Like you can just be marketed way harder. So, but the issue is like when you do get that marketing, you end up losing your sovereignty. And I think, especially if you're young and you're an entertainer, if any of you guys want to be entertainers or musicians or actors or whatever, and you're listening to this, it's just like you have to understand the trade that you're making. Is basically what I'm saying here. I'm not saying don't be an actor, don't be an entertainer, don't be a musician. Not every actor or entertainer needs to be a politician or talk about politics, of course. It's just more like understand if you're going to do that, you have to accept that you're going to lose your sovereignty when it comes to like your opinions on certain things. Like you're not going to just be able to say whatever you want. Because your label's going to be like, if you're saying all that, we can't really put this vehicle behind you. because we have to remain neutral on topics or whatever. They can't speak about certain things, especially if it goes against the people who own the labels, right? Like I said with Ye and the Jewish situation, like niggas literally speaking against said handler. So it's like what the fuck, bro? But I mean, he had enough fame to recover already to just, operate on his own and be completely okay. But compared to, if you're just a small time entertainer or actor or musician, like you don't have that ability to be independent and still be huge. You need a vehicle behind you. So just understand if you want to be an actor, you want to be an entertainer, that's the route that you're taking in life, which is completely fine. Just be ready to understand that you're not going to be able to just be independent and be sovereign. And if you want to have that ability, you're not going to be able to get the engine about behind you that could really blow up. Because a lot of these, artists that come up, they just see all the money in the contract with the label and they don't really realize that they're having to sell their independence or sell their soul, quote unquote, to become huge, become big, and make millions of dollars. So, you know,
Forever. I mean, it was
Forever ago.
yeah,
Forever
it
ago.
wasn't recent.
Here is, I wish to God this was on candid camera. When that video came out on Twitter, I said, T. He goes, what? I said, they're about to get Diddy. He goes, why? I said, they've just released a video that's 10 years old. They've been sitting on it for 10 years, and they've just
What
put it
year
on
was
the
that?
news now.
2016, March of 2016.
So
is
9
when it-
years
I
ago.
said this to Tristan verbatim. I said, T, they're about to get Diddy. He said, why? I said, they've released a video that is 10 years old. They've been sitting on this for 10 long years. This was 2016. They got the
yeah, that's fucking scary. That is kind of scary. This was kind of like in the previous streams where I was talking about, or even what he was mentioning too, that I was in agreement with, where he was talking about, like, if you've slept with a girl, if you slept or been with any girls, right? Which I'd want for all you niggas. You niggas better be fucking bitches. But anyway, point is, if you've been with one in the past and then you become very famous and become very wealthy, like you've already committed a crime because this girl can turn around and falsely accuse you and you'd be cooked, even if it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years later. And it's like the fuck. So it's a similar situation now with Diddy that I guess he's explaining here, where he's like, niggas are bringing up a 10-year-old video and posting it now. And why would that be relevant now if this happened 10 years ago? Oh, to make everybody, almost like jog the public's memory, not even jog the public's memory, but make the public already know, hey, this guy is a bad dude. He deserves to go to jail. Like you butter everybody up, I think even I saw one video by Homaf actually, where he was talking about this. Like that's basically what happened with COVID. Like when COVID was happening, like they slowly started to quarantine. Like they slowly started to butter everyone up to being okay with quarantine. Because imagine if they were like, okay, COVID is here, everybody has to get locked in their house immediately. Like when when it happened, what was that? That was around like the beginning of March 2020. Like imagine, bro, they were like, the minute COVID hit, they were like, nope, everybody gotta get locked up in your house. You can't go anywhere anymore. Like, do you think everyone would be all right with that shit? They'd be like, oh, fuck, no, hold on, bro. What's going on? Like, people would be immediately resistant. But what the media then had to do was kind of like butter everybody up. It's like, oh, we got this COVID thing going on. Yeah, I think it'd be advisable to start wearing masks. Like, people are starting to die or whatever. Everyone's already starting to be like, okay, yeah, well, I guess this is kind of going on. Yeah, maybe we should wear masks. It's like, oh, it's getting worse. More people are dying. Maybe people should start staying in their homes more. It'd be advisable to just stay in your home. And people are like, oh, yeah, that's true. I guess that makes a lot of sense. Like, you don't want to be outside spreading this shit around. And then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? No, let's just do quarantine now. Let's just let everybody stay in their house. Nobody should go anywhere. Everybody got to be inside. And then at that point, you're like, oh, well, I guess that's not bad because you went through the stages of accepting being in quarantine. Understand? They were probably already always planning the quarantine the minute that this shit hit the States and was becoming a bigger issue. They were like, oh, yeah, we got to quarantine these niggas. But they're like, let's slowly, get the public to be like, yeah, you're going to stay in your house. Because if we instantly do it, everyone is going to be immediately resistant to it because it's too big of a change all at once. So that is what the media does. Like the media will slowly butter up to something to get you to accept it rather than just fully accepting it, right? And I'm not going to really talk about like, oh, was COVID fake or was COVID real? Because I really haven't studied it that much to really know or whatever. Sure, maybe it was real. Sure, maybe it was fake, whatever. I'm not a COVID expert on that whole situation, but especially because I wasn't really into politics and all that other kind of shit during that time, bro. I didn't even really give a fuck at all during that time, bro. It kind of fucked me up because I was playing soccer at the time, but other than that, like I wasn't really that interested. But that's what I've noticed that the media does do. They do butter people up. So this is what has happened with this Diddy situation, where basically, if a video of what he did 10 years ago gets released now, it's because they're trying to butter the media up to him going to jail rather than just releasing it. And then, like I said, if you just randomly try to, make people just do something, everyone's going to be instantly resistant because human beings are naturally like that. A lot of niggas hate fucking change. I was literally speaking about change earlier in that earlier monologue, but like a lot of people just hate change, generally speaking. So, you know, it only makes sense that the media loves to slowly get niggas to accept shit rather than just say accept this.
Footage. Why has no one seen it? And Tristan goes, and that's out now. I was like, yep. 2 weeks later, arrested. They set up the public perception before the arrest. And I know how this works. So I saw it. And
so my conclusion is that it's so people just don't resist it. The reason why they butter everybody up is because they don't want as much resistance, because people are automatically resistant to change. Like, most niggas are just not willing to completely change the way their life looks or whatever all of a sudden for no reason. People are super resistant to change. So,
called it. This came out of nowhere. This was stored somewhere in the Matrix archives. When they decided to take him down,
Matrix archives,
slander him, just like they did to me. Before we were arrested, there was a media campaign trying its very best to paint us as bad people.
Damn.
The media doesn't report the news. Gentlemen, please understand.
Nigga was wilding low key, bro. Grab that jump, bro.
Paint us as bad people.
Damn.
Because the media doesn't report the news. Gentlemen, please understand. The media prepares the public for the news. That's what they do. The media starts saying, you're going to die from COVID.
That's yep.
Everyone's dying from.
And yes, I've seen this interview before. I just didn't even remember, exactly what he had to say for it. But like, or say for this in particular. But like, yeah, COVID was like, the real situation. How that was just such a COVID was just such a perfect example of how the media, affects shit.
COVID's scary. We might have to lock you in your house. We'll try not to, but we might have to. Prepare for maybe a lockdown. They soften your mind to the idea of things. They don't just come along and say lock in your house because people will rebel. They soften your mind to it. They softened people's brains to the idea.
And I would just say, just because most niggas are not going to think about shit, and most niggas are just, it's just because just based off what I've seen of human nature, niggas hate fucking change. Like, idea
of a Diddy arrest on purpose because it was all set up and decided, just like they did to me, because it is all set up, it is all orchestrated. That's why I do not believe what the media want me to believe. I'm not emotionally reacting to their stories because that's what they're intending. Instead, I'm analyzing, why did this appear now? Why has this been said now? Why are they putting it out today? What is their further intentions? Why him? Why not the others? Why this one clip of Andrew Tate saying something which could be interpreted badly? Why are we not talking about Andrew Tate's charity, TatePledge.com, where he gives $25 million a year away? Why are we not talking about the dog shelters he runs in Romania? Why are we only talking about an old joke he made 10 years ago? Why?
Yeah, Jerry, it's funny because a lot of niggas that are slandered actually do really great things, but like, people are only going to be concerned about the bad shit you do, especially when you're famous. Like, that's just what's going to make the news. That's just what's going to be exciting, bro. Like, I would go to say that there's a lot of famous people that have done good things, but we're only ever really going to be seeing and or paying attention to the bad things that famous people do, because that's what's interesting. That's honestly what sells. So just a human nature thing, bro. We love to know who's crashing out, bro. That's just what we do, bro.
Nobody thinks.
And I'm niggas. You just want to know where the problems are. You're not excited to see the good things that people do. You want to know where the problems are at.
That's why for any of this. And then they get played like a fool. And before you know it, they're being dragged down the path, thinking Andrew Tate's the worst man in the world with no criminal convictions. Before you know it, even senators, even governors of great states like Florida are not smart enough to stand up and answer a media question without falling for the trap, which makes them incompetent.
It's just, once again, that's what I say. It's because these niggas are more concerned with maintaining their brand. Because I'm going to be honest, the DeSantis guy, maybe he has no problem with Tate. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. I'm going to be honest. Because, as I was saying earlier, niggas are more than willing to give up their honorability and integrity for money. So maybe the DeSantis guy, he has nothing against Tate, but publicly he is going to have something against him because it suits him. It suits his brand and his reputation for him continuing his stint as governor, for example. Like, it's just what it does. It's a power game. It's always power games, you know? Especially when somebody's obviously intelligent and they're choosing to lie on purpose or act like, oh, this dude's a bad dude, or be disingenuous about someone. It's because, they're trying to keep their brand intact. It's not even about like, no one's real. Most niggas are ridiculously fake, y'all. The internet is a ridiculously fake place where everybody is fake. Especially if you're somebody who wants to make money on the internet, and I'm niggas, by the way. Like, when you wanna make money on the internet, like, the quickest thing to do to make money on the internet is to be actually as fake as possible and to hide your true intentions and your true opinions. Because when you actually start telling the truth, basically what we've been going over here, literally what we've been going over here. When you're actually telling the truth about situations and being honest, brands hate that shit, handlers hate that shit because you're constantly being a dissenter from what most people accept. And most brands don't want to deal with somebody who's like a loose cannon like that. Not that you're necessarily a loose cannon, but when you want to tell the truth, it's sometimes not always popular. Not even sometimes, nigga. The truth is never popular. The uncomfortable truth is almost never popular. So naturally, bruh, like, you're a brand risk. Shout out to Aiden Ross. You're a brand risk, naturally, if you like to tell the truth about shit. So, and if, as I was saying, a lot of people on the internet are fake. So if a lot of people on the internet are fake and are just trying to make money, they want to avoid people who are brand risks, or they want to avoid people who tell the truth, because there is no money really in the truth. There's a lot more money in being fake and lying. There's so much more money in that shit than there's so much more fast money in that. At least telling the truth, you get long-term money, but you suffer a lot more. Honestly speaking, I think Nick Fuentes is actually a perfect example of this. Like, he's somebody who suffered tremendously for telling the truth, but he's getting an insane payoff, which is why he's blowing up so much, because he's basically took the long-term pain for the longer term W, because now he's becoming bigger than all these other conservatives. Slowly but surely, he'll become bigger than all the mainstream conservatives, because he was the only one who was actually willing to tell the truth about things this entire time, and he paid dearly for it. And because he paid dearly for it, he's going to win the biggest in the end. And the truth always sets you free. You might not win at the beginning if you maintain your integrity and your honorability, but in the long term, bro, it makes all the difference. But if you want to make as much money as possible, as soon as possible on the internet, just be fake as possible, be as unhonorable as possible, and you make a ton of money. But niggas will find out you're fake sooner or later, though. So, but hey, to each their own.
And unfit for leadership if they can't resist matrix programming. Do you want a governor who can be tricked by the matrix? Because I don't. Do you want an AG who's going to, instead of trying to solve the crime in Florida, find an innocent man and waste his time trying to put him in jail?
Yeah, I mean, because you're a politician, and this is basically what it means to be a corrupt politician, is what I mean. Like, when you're corrupt, it means something is obviously true, but you'll act like it's not true because you want to make more money or gain more status or remain in power. Like, that's just what it is. If that's what, I mean, this is, honestly, I'll be real, that's just what politics is in a nutshell. You're trying to control, being a politician is the game of controlling public perception at all times. And you're gonna want to go in and out of your way to make sure the public is perceiving you in a way that benefits you. So you're gonna go in and out of your way to discredit anybody who's in opposition to you and uplift anyone who will make your brand look better. It's not about honor and integrity or the betterment of the people. It's about remaining in power, especially if you want to make your money in politics. Because that's the kind of the dangerous thing, because you get paid as a politician. If you want to make money or get rich as a politician, you're gonna have to lie or manipulate, or that's what most of them do. If you want to make money quickly, as I just outlined, if you're somebody who actually likes to tell the truth, you're not going to make money initially or at the beginning, but you will make a lot of money in the long term, because at the end of the day, people actually love trustworthy people. People actually love people who are completely honest and are not willing to sell their soul or lie or lose their integrity for money. Like, people love people who are actually really honest or real, or, are true about who they actually are. It doesn't help you in the short term, though. Niggas will hate that shit in the short term, because everybody who's actually making money is lying and acting like they don't see the truth. But, The truth always wins in the end, bro. The truth always wins in the long term. Obviously, lying might benefit you in the short term, but it hurts you in the long run. Telling the truth hurts you in the short term, but it gives you more than you could ever want in the long term. So, but politicians, bro, they're gonna lie, manipulate, or do whatever they got to say to make sure that they remain in power. So this is why they can be like, "Oh no, Tate's a human trafficker. I vote for me too because I said he's a human trafficker." Like that's just what it becomes. So
Because I don't. But this is the world we're now living in. All because the Matrix can control people with a MSM, which should be completely defunct by now. Who's even watching this shit? Who even cares what they say? Who gives a shit? Who believes a single word from MSM? Who? Slaves. That's who. So it's very important that you at home, if you want to resist.
thank God for independent media. Thank God for social media in general. That's what I'm saying. Social media is so lit, just to the fact that niggas all don't have to get their news from the exact same place anymore because that shit was gay. Back in the day before phones, like the only place you could get the news from is just CNN and like Fox on your TV, and everybody watched the same news, so everybody believed the same shit. But at least with the internet, niggas can just say whatever they want to say. You know, at least when it comes to like X and Rumble, what I'm streaming on, for example, like people can actually just say the truth and what they're actually seeing. You know, you don't have to just rely on the mainstream media, and it just makes the mainstream media actually look worse because now we can see when the mainstream media is actually lying about shit, which is just great, man. So I'm really grateful for that shit, man. That's the one great thing that social media definitely has done for the betterment of Americans, especially because we can see, you know, nobody would have ever known how evil Israel has been if there was not for social media, for TikTok, for X. You know what I'm saying? Nobody would really be knowing what's going on. So that shit is too lit, man. I really, really appreciate that shit.
It's the slave programming. Defrag your own brain. Analyze yourself. Go look in the mirror and say, who do I hate? This person. Have I ever met them? No. Why do I hate them? The news told me. Wake up.
Or
I want to maintain my brand.
Andrew, so because it started on the Epstein list. So we were promised the Epstein list was going to come out. Trump said he's going to release it. Cash Patel said day one I was going to release it. Business working days, we're on day 6. I tweeted it today. And Andrew, you kind of mentioned it, because they're all involved. What type of who is the type of people or group that can literally make phone calls and say, don't you freaking dare put that shit out because we're all on it and we have footage on all of you and we're on it as well. Who, because I know you're smirking because I know you kind of know.
Because I mean, to be real, bro, with the whole Epstein list situation, bro, like everyone's like, all right, we're all fucked if we release it. To be honest, they're like, oh well, we're all cooked if we release this shit. So let's just not release it. I mean, pretty simple. Obviously, it could be way more complicated than that, but that's just how I see it. It's just like, too many niggas are compromised, so we might as well just not release it at all. This nigga's face is funny as shit right here.
Oh, but who has that power, Andrew? Don't get in trouble. But who's up there, Andrew, that's calling them? Because, Andrew, they're calling, like, think about it. It's reaching Pam Bondi, it's reaching Cash Patel, and Donald Trump promised it to us, and we're still waiting. We're waiting, which I don't think it's ever going to come out. Who's up there?
And now we know for sure that it's not coming out because, like I said in previous streams, this stream is from, or this interview or podcast was 4 months ago. So
who's up there? Who's making that call?
Well, I could say the Jews and get some favor. Get some favor with the internet. But let's argue that there's a lot of influences in the world.
Yep.
And all of them are rich. Poor people don't matter.
Sure.
In terms of this kind of political setup, right? So it can be the Jews, it can be the Muslims, it can be the Christians, whatever, but whoever they are, they have a lot of money because money is power. So I would analyze, firstly, if I had to try and dissect this as a professional, I would analyze who controls enough money that it would be a detriment to the political class and the society as a whole if these lists leaked. Because nobody's afraid of outing a poor person, and nobody's afraid of outing brokies. They're afraid of outing people with massive influence, and influence is money because money is the stored time and energy of other humans. So I would say follow the money. And if you follow the money, you will come to the answer to the question. Will they eventually release it? I like to think so. I'm actually a huge fan of Cash. I actually like Pam. I think they're good.
That's actually another thing too. If you ever want to make sure that actually I'll even say this too. If you ever want to make sure that you know the truth about someone, let's say you just see someone on the internet, right? Let's just see you see someone on the internet and you want to know what their true incentives and motivations are. You always have to follow where the money is going at all times, because everybody does things for money. No one is doing something for a significant amount of time unless they want to have a lot of money. Be real. Like, I'm obviously not doing this for free. Like, I want to make money doing this streaming, content creation. That's why I do it. I'm not doing it for free. You know, nobody does anything for free. Money is what makes the world go around, right? Money is how you feed your family. Everybody's doing things for money. Okay. So if we understand that money is the prime motivation because money is what prevents you from starving, this means if you ever want to know what somebody's intentions are or why they say certain things, especially if it's on the internet or social media or whatever, follow who's paying them. This is especially true of politicians, by the way. This is especially true of politicians. If you want to know what a politician's incentives are or what they really think or how they really feel, see who's paying them. See who is giving them the most money, right? This is the way that so many Americans were able to find out why our government is so occupied or helps Israel so much, or why our foreign policy is controlled by Israel so much. They were like, well, okay, why is our government helping these people so much? Okay, let's see who our government officials are getting money from. Oh, it's from APAC. Oh, APAC is the Israel lobby that has all these Israelis that are rich that are giving our politicians money. Okay, if there's this Zionist lobby or this Israeli lobby that is giving our politicians money, well, why would they be giving our politicians money? To make sure our politicians are fighting for policies that do what? That benefit Israel, right? So you see how the money was just followed there? If you just look at who's paying whom, you know what incentive somebody has. If I give you $1 million, I'm probably giving you a deal with that money. If I'm like, here's $1 million, but I need you to do this for me. Like, I wouldn't, no one's just going to give you money for free, right? Like, who's ever getting money for free? Nobody gets money for free. If I give you money, it's because I want something from you. You know, just like when you go to Chipotle and they make your fucking food in front of you, you pay them so they can give you the food. That's the exchange here. Money is just value exchange. Hey, I give you this value, being the hard-earned cash. You give me you give me value back in return, which is whatever I want you to do for me. So if you ever want to understand somebody's motivations or intentions clearly, especially somebody on the internet or especially the government or the US government, just look at who's paying them. Look who pays them, right? Look at their brand deals or whatever. If you look at these things, you know why they have the opinions that they have. You know what I'm saying? Unless someone is openly saying, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this shit for money," like even that, I mean, even then, you can't really fully trust a nigga. That could be manipulation in itself. So maybe I'm manipulating you niggas, but the point that I'm basically trying to give here is just like the bread is where it's at. Everybody does everything for money. Nobody's doing nothing for no money. No one is spending a lot of time or energy or effort in literally doing anything unless they're getting paid to do it. Because get paid is how you survive, you know? So that's why I was Steve was saying earlier about the whole politician thing. It's just like when you're a politician, you're gonna make sure to say things that allow you to remain in power so you can continue to make money. So just always follow the bread and you'll know what somebody's true motivations and true intentions are. So with that being said, we keep it cooking, y'all. Keep it cooking, chat. Keep it cooking.
People. I've never spoken to them, but from what I've seen, they're great. So I like to think they will release it. I also am a benefit of the doubt guy in general. I think that if somebody says they're going to release a list and they're a little bit late, but they haven't said they're not going to release it, I think we should give them the benefit of the doubt because the other team would have never released it. The other team would have never promised to release it. If Kamala won, it would have never been seen. So perhaps there's a delay.
Well, I mean, both sides of the political parties are probably more than likely for sure on that list. So it's like it's mutual demise. To be real, if either party releases it, if they release it, they fuck themselves up while fucking up the other party. If the Republicans were to release it, they fuck themselves up while fucking up the other party. It's like mutual demise because we know hella niggas are on there, but obviously we're never gonna know.
Maybe. I like to think perhaps it will come in the end.
Because I believe they said that, oh, he did not have a client list. Let me check to make sure. Because I don't want to just tell y'all. They said that, and I don't know for sure. Um, yeah. So it looks like they said that, oh, that's what they said. That he just had no client list, which is, nigga, yes, this nigga did, bro. Let's just keep it a stack. But they said, oh, bro didn't have a client list, but he definitely did. This is just what I searched up to see it from. They said that apparently he had no client list, and this was, yeah, July. So he definitely did, though. But, niggas, man, telling you, well, we keep it cooking. Just follow the money, y'all. It's the main thing. Just follow the bread. It's always that's the most important thing. If you really want to understand what a nigga's on, just gotta follow that money, bro.
That would be good. But if you
Okay.
wanted to ask me who's stopping it coming out, it's people with money. That's what it is. Money makes the world go round. It's people with money. So if you follow the money, you're going to find out.
Both sides, by the way.
Oh, I
This has
agree.
got
I
nothing to
agree
do with politics.
100%.
It's got to
both
do
of
with
them.
people that.
Oh, this is
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, let's say, God forbid, Democrats were to win in 2028. Like, it's not like they would release the files even then either, because it, like I was saying earlier, it would fuck them up too. So they're not going to do it. Like, come on now.
money makes the world go round, especially America. America's all it's money.
Wasn't there news over the last week that he was literally an FBI informant?
FBI informant and a Mossad agent. So there was two of them. He worked for everybody.
You know what's interesting when you talk about like money and how money affects everything. I was having a conversation. You know what? If I really wanted to go viral, my private conversations inside the war room at my house would be posted online, but they're not. But I was discussing with somebody and we were talking about Trump ending BRICS. You know, Trump came along and said, BRICS is enough, using the dollar. Instantly ended it. And a girl who was there said, well, why are people listening to Trump? Why don't people just do BRICS anyway so they can get off the dollar and they can move on? Which is quite a smart thing for a girl to say. She actually knew what BRICS was. I was impressed. It's like, can you drive? Oh, didn't think so. So I said, because it's actually interesting. Money is the driving force behind all politics. It always will be, because it is your primary objective to not only make people believe they can be rich, but to keep your rich people happy, to keep your oligarchy happy, and to keep them politically invested in you. The only countries in the world that can control their oligarchy are America, Russia, and China. Every other country, their rich political classes, their oligarchy, are more interested in staying rich than they are interested in the leadership of the country. So if they were to proceed with BRICS and try and completely detach from the American dollar, the massive repercussions of that would upset the oligarchy of these nations. Do you think the rich Venezuelans really give a shit about the Venezuelan president, or do you think they give a shit about their offshore accounts and their dollars and staying
their
rich?
money?
They want their money.
Yeah.
So the only way you can combat America and the American dollar is if you can control your oligarchy. China oligarchy.
And even speaking very briefly about like poor and rich people, it's like people have this weird idea that poor people, are just poor for no reason, and rich people are just rich for no reason. Like a lot of guys have this idea. But the truth is, the reason why rich people are rich is because they pay more attention to money than poor people do. Poor people are just not really that interested in money, if we'll keep it a stack. Like a lot of poor people are not interested in money. If you were to look at a poor person's, like how they spend their days or what they spend their money on, you will quickly realize they're spending none of their time on making more money, and they spend none of their money on gaining more skills and abilities to make more money. So poor people almost always behave in ways that show that they do not give a fuck about money. Like if you could never hear a poor person talk and just look at their behavior, you would instantly be able to see that this nigga gives no fuck about money. Compared to rich people pay the most attention to money. They're always thinking about money. They're always thinking about how to make more money or how to have more money, right? Just in general, to own, like if you looked at how they're spending their time, they're always spending their time on gaining new skills or abilities and or working, right? Because if they're working, they're making more money. Or if they're spending their time gaining more skills and abilities, what are they doing? They're gaining those skills and abilities to do what? Make more money. And when they spend their money, what do they spend their money on? Things that are going to make them more money, whether that be them investing in stocks or investing in real estate or doing crypto or Bitcoin. Like they're finding ways to make their money, make more money, So just for you guys just to understand, like never, when you look at poor and rich people, don't think, oh, there's some big opportunity divide and niggas can't make more money or whatever. I'm not saying there's never glitches in the system, but generally speaking, if you want to be rich and you want to make a lot more money, and this is me also saying this is not somebody who's rich yet. Obviously, me saying this will be look a lot later once I'm rich in the future. But right now, if you want to make more money, you need to focus on money. All your behavior and the way that you act and move and how you spend your time should be, how can I gain more skills and abilities to make more money? Or how can I work all the time to gain a lot of money to then spend that money on making more money, right? Whereas poor people, what you want to avoid doing is spending money on things that don't make you more money. Imagine you go work 8 hours a day at some bum ass job and then you go spend that money on weed or alcohol or video games and other shit. It's like, nigga, you're literally just selling your soul away. you're never going to get any of your time back to do other things that you'd want to do, because you're more than willing to work 8 hours at a job that you fucking hate and then spend said money on bullshit that is not going to make you more money to then have to go and work the 8-hour job again. Understand? So make sure if you want to make a lot of money in your life, you have to spend the most amount of attention, or spend or give the most amount of attention to making as much money and how your money is moving and what your bank account looks like. Because I'm telling you, rich people just love money. That's why they make the most. Poor people don't love money, but they try to act like they love money. Because the truth is, poor people just don't like working. They don't like what it takes. They don't like having to learn or gain all the skills and abilities you need to make a lot of money. So they'll sit there and say, no, I need money. When the truth is, no, nigga, you actually need to work hard and learn how to make it to get it. So hope that gives you a new perspective on what it means to become rich and how poor people actually think and move. I'm telling you, just look at the behavior. If you just look at the behavior, it's clear. Behavior reveals all. Kind of like I was saying earlier, like money reveals all. Well, behavior is really what reveals all about somebody's intentions and motivations. All right. So we keep it cooking, y'all boys.
He's controlled, because look what happened to Jack Ma when he talked bad about China. He vanished. Look what happens to Russian oligarchs when they do bad. They fly out the fucking window. All of them. Every single one. The American oligarchs, well, they get a prison case usually. So we're the nicest of the three. But we can control our oligarchy. Most nations, if you want to understand politics in lots of countries, you need to analyze how many countries cannot control the wealth of their own nation. That's one of the reasons England's collapsing right now. There is a wealth flight. Everyone with money is leaving. And you know what's funny? They're leaving because of crime and Islam. And guess where they're leaving to? Dubai. All of them. So it's not an Islam problem. It's a crime problem. It's a unsafe streets. It's a government you can't trust. It's two-tier policing.
Well, it's the niggas that are representing Islam that are doing the crime. Not that it's an Islam problem, but it's just kind of like, well, if you're doing bad shit and you're representing Islam, niggas are going to obviously stop liking Islam. Same thing with what's going on in Israel right now. Niggas are becoming more anti-Semitic because of the behavior of Israelis in Israel. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, like, the way you niggas are moving are making niggas hate Jews. Nobody actually hates Jews, just by extension of the behavior of some bad ones. You know what I'm saying?
That's what they're running from. But everyone is leaving these countries because the UK is not a strong enough government to keep its rich people in place. America has great control over its oligarchy. American billionaires stay in America, and Russian billionaires stay in Russia. And they'll listen. If Putin calls all the billionaires and says, we're not doing business with Ukraine, they'll listen. If not, they go flying out a window. That's why they're all flying out windows. A couple of them took the wrong phone call, took the wrong text message, shouldn't have done it. FSB turn up. They're built different. You ain't arguing your way out of that one. You're going out a fucking window. So it's really interesting when you analyze global politics, who can actually control their oligarchies, how they can influence things overall. So you talk about the Epstein list. I would argue it's a very similar scenario. It's all about money. It's all about who has the money and controlling the money. Is America as a country prepared to up
and the influence and the reputation, of course, too? Because like we said, like, what would immediately happen if that list came out? The American people would want a ton of these politicians that we more than likely already know to go to jail. And none of these politicians want to lose their power. So they're like, fuck no, we're not releasing that list. And this is why the MAGA base for Trump got so fucking mad at this nigga when he was like, who cares about the list? It's like, nigga, this shit is horrible. These niggas were literally touching kids, bro. Like, the fuck? These niggas need to go to jail. They need to be tried. We want to see niggas get arrested. The fuck? So for him to just be like, who gives a fuck? It's like, it's stupid. It just looks bad. It made them just look shitty. I'm telling you, it's just, it was just ridiculous, generally speaking. Because it's like, these niggas know it's a horrible idea because we want to maintain our power. Because the American people are going to want, a lot of these politicians to go to jail. And they're like, but we're the politicians that they're going to want to go to jail. So let's not release that shit.
Upset all of its richest people? I don't know. Is it? Is it prepared to upset all of its richest people to appease bloodthirsty brokies who don't even care about justice? They just want the drama. Another question, because I would argue that the murders that happen every day on the street are very interesting, but no one cares about.
So I'm just trying to tell you guys, poor people do not care about money. Most of them. I'm telling you guys, the percentage of people who are poor that generally want to become rich usually do, because they actually care about money. And because they actually care about money, they change their behavior to get it. But I'm telling you, a vast majority of poor people are not interested in money and are way more interested in handouts. And some people who are poor, quote unquote, don't even care about being poor. Like I'm saying, generally speaking, it's not even about money. They're like, you know what? I like the way my life is. I don't want to have to work harder. I don't want to have to do more work. So I'm just going to live the way I want to live. Like, there's also this assumption that poor people are always extremely unhappy, at least in the United States, are always extremely unhappy or hate their lives or whatever. When there's some poor people who are like, I don't give a fuck. But obviously, there's going to be poor people who want to take full advantage of a situation and say, no, I want as many handouts as possible because I don't want to have to change my behavior. Because it's easier to ask for a handout than it is to change your behavior.
That MS-13 and all this shit, no one really cares about that. But this Epstein list they really care about. They want justice, sure, but it's a drama. It's interesting. They want to find out. They're curious. And I'm asking you, as a professional, you're in charge of a country.
Yeah, niggas are curious, but you don't want to lose. That's I mean, live. I think it's really just because they understand the American people are not gonna be cool with having politicians running them or running the government who are child molesters. Like they're just not going to let that slide. What I would say here, in contrast to Tate a little bit, is multiple things can be true at once. Like, yes, some niggas just want the drama. Some niggas actually want justice. Some niggas want to really know if, the Mossad was behind this shit, which looks more than likely. Like, people, yes, there's so many different connecting factors, but yeah, it's definitely not just about the drama for sure. I think there's definitely other things too, but yeah, the politicians would just never fucking do it because it's going to make them look too bad.
Your primary objective is to keep your oligarchy happy, to keep the wealth inside of your nation, and to make them obey you when it comes to sanctions and such other things, and to ensure that the US dollar becomes and stays the predominant currency globally. There's a bunch of bloodthirsty brokies on the internet who barely pay taxes who want to go through a list. Who are you going to prioritize? Who do you care about? I'm not saying it's...
But I would argue the most that it's just they care about themselves and they don't want to fuck up their reputation. That's just really what it is. Not that they don't care about the oligarchy and the niggas who are making the most money, but it's definitely themselves. They're like, oh shit, I want to protect myself.
Fair. But anyone who believes the legal systems are fair is a dumbass anyway, because the legal system's never been fair. There's always been a who are you involved in all legal cases.
Of
So when
course.
you talk about the Epstein things, I sit and think it's all money orientated. Because broke people like to think that rich people should be held accountable like broke people. And that's a great idea. But guess what? They're not.
True.
They're not. Rich people have a different capability to fight against legal cases than a broke person. They can have better lawyers. They have better media spin. They have PR. They have news outlets. I'm not talking about myself because I'm not rich like these people. These people own news networks. They can affect public sentiment, which affects a jury, which affects their
insane.
case. This is the bottom line of it.
This is why people look at the Derek Chauvin case in 2020 as like super fraudulent, because it's like, bro, there was so much public unrest with that case that there was just no possible way that nigga got a fair trial, bro. Like, this nigga's rotting in jail, and there's basically no way that this nigga got a fair trial because there was way too much public unrest. They definitely rushed that case way too fucking hard because the public was about to blow up. This is why I was saying before, the reputation does matter, because when the American people are really annoyed about something, it does disrupt a lot of things. So yes, these politicians care about the oligarchy and the niggas who make the most money. But the problem is when you have, all the American people, even like if you combine all the American people and then put them next to the people who are most wealthy, it's like that's a lot of power still. So like public sentiment, when it's all brought together for a lot of people, for the American people, are like, we don't like this shit. We don't like that our politicians were touching kids if the list were to come out, right? It would change things, and they're like, they wouldn't want to affect their reputation, bro. They really would not.
Top level, at the top echelon of fame and money, legal cases aren't even about law. They're just a circus. If they pick you up, it's only deliberately to attack your image. It's not even about law at that point, like Trump. It was only to attack his image. With me, it was to attack my image. They didn't give a shit they got a conviction. They got a shit about keeping me in a country where I couldn't work, trying to take away all my money, and slandering me every day on the news. That's all
to ensure that the public saw him that way, because his message was going against the norm, or using his terminology here, it was going against the matrix. Because it was going against the matrix, it's like, oh, we got to make sure that the public sees this nigga in a bad light. So we get all of them to ignore what he's saying, because he's saying true things that go against our way of thinking or how we want the public to see things.
I wanted to do. So you have to analyze these.
Because what I've really noticed is that, bro, niggas get really scared when you get access to young people. Like, when you get access to young people and you can affect the minds of young people because obviously the next generation is who's going to be running the country in the future. So how the young people are thinking will determine what things are going to look like in the future, which is why I'm actually really fucking excited because a lot of young people are awake to what's going on with Israel or how Israel controls the United States. So I already know in the next 30, 40, 50 years, bruh, the Zionist lobby not going to be looking too hot no more because there's going to be too many niggas that are awake to the shit. Especially with the Mondani guy, the guy who's running in New York for, I believe, governor. I think it's Zohar Mondani, something like that. I think it's governor. I just want to make sure for you guys. Wait, hold on. Yeah, so it looks like he actually won. Actually, yeah, no, I mean, it looks like yeah. Or was this? Oh no, that was a mayoral primary. I don't know what the actual thing is, but like he's basically about to become mayor, and the primary thing is that he don't fuck with, you know, what's going on in Israel. So if you're just like, I don't fuck with what's going on in Israel right now, if you're just a politician who's saying I don't fuck with what's going on in Israel, everyone is gonna fucking love you. Which is great because it shows the shift. Even though I don't agree with any of these niggas' policy, I don't fuck with all that liberal shit. That shit is all fucking gay. But just being against Israel is more than enough to get you elected, which is a good sign for the future, bruh. That we're not going to be controlled by the Zionist lobby anymore. Because if all these politicians are getting elected just because they're anti-Israel, bro, cooked. Like it's completely over with for them. So I'm super excited for the future, bro. Because young people, they know what the fuck is going on, which means we're definitely gonna be super lit in the future. So in fact, that'll be a good place to stop. Actually, we only got a little less than an hour left in this shit. I know there's still a lot of good shit that I can pull out of this. You know what I'm saying? So of course we're gonna keep it going. Of course. And then I should probably even start planning what I want to react to next and just be yapping about to you guys. So I'll definitely check that out for sure. Let me just pull up my socials here to make sure you guys can see them. So, we can grow the fam everywhere. So you can follow your boy. So get that shit up for you niggas. 1 second, y'all. 1 second, 1 second. 1 second, 1 second. All right, bro. First and foremost, if you're not already watching on YouTube, check out your boy on YouTube, man. I'd be loving to drop success videos like every day on here that can help you become extremely successful. Also, like short form success tips and just some thread/X content that I'd be posting. You can definitely see that shit on here with the anime backgrounds. I'll be fucking with anime. Anime changing the nigga's life. You should be watching anime. That should change your life. Anyway, fuck with your boy on YouTube, of course. What I'm saying? Trying to grow the fam on there. And of course, too, fuck with your boy on the IG. Of course, I'll be on that short form shit, as I was saying. I'll be posting like also on YouTube shorts, the same shorts that I put here. I put my shorts pretty much everywhere on all like my accounts. So you can pretty much see that shit everywhere. But just support your boy everywhere, of course. You know what I'm saying? We gotta grow the fam everywhere. I'm trying to expand my reach as much as I possibly can, bro. So, fuck with your boy on here. Ali Tate, same thing for YouTube. And then last but not least, yeah, fuck with the X too, you know what I'm saying? Nobody watching on here right now, but definitely fuck with your boy on X because I love talking about shit, whether it be politics, women, succeeding. X is just the place to be when it comes to just having discussions with niggas. I would argue that it's the app that got the highest IQ people on there, at least. I mean, some niggas, I guess, are just faking it. Maybe I'm faking it. Who knows? But yeah, definitely fuck with your boy on here. Fuck with your boy on here. Like I said, trying to grow the fam everywhere. And then last but not least, the app that should be banned, but is never fucking banned ever. Who knows if it's ever going to get banned? I don't fucking know. Just fuck with your boy on TikTok too. Trying to grow the fam on here, of course, too. I just be posting my short form shit on here, as I do everywhere, as you guys have already seen. But definitely fuck with your boy on here. If you don't have TikTok, download the shit just because you love me. So you can follow me on here. We can grow the shit on here too as well. Yeah, man. So that all being said too, if you anything else you decide to do, like the fucking stream. You know what I'm saying? Just like the stream so more guys can see this. More ambitious guys who are trying to reach the peak of their masculinity and just generally be winners in life so they can enjoy their life and be fulfilled. Can see this motherfucker. Fuck with your boy. Grow the fam. We just keep it moving, man. So I'm gonna keep improving, keep getting better. Want to invest in the stream. Got some new content that I'm planning out later this week that I want to start posting. Maybe you guys will fuck with that shit. So yeah, man. We'll keep it going, and I'm gonna catch you guys tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So love you, fam, and deuces.